Hello collectors, it's Steven here with the long-awaited review of Nendoroid Red and Green. This duo comes to us from the original Game Boy games, Pokemon Red version and Pokemon Green version, better known internationally as Red and Blue version. This set is exclusive to Amazon JP and the Pokemon Centers in Japan, though international fans can get it from third-party sellers on Amazon, other websites, and forwarding services, but it will be pricey. The protagonist and his rival have been recreated in chibi format based on their initial appearances, but is this set worth it? Well, let's take a look to see whether or not it's worth adding into your collection. First, we'll take a look at Red, the hero. Overall, he's the more complex figure of the two, but that's not saying too much here. While he does look nice with small details, a close eye will notice a few issues with him in the paint department. Generally, the face looks nice and the decals for the eyes are applied well, and the jet black hair is nice and clean. His hat, however, is iffy. While his emblem is rather crisp, a bit off-centered, the white is really sloppy on the hat with a lot of bleed over. It almost feels like a bootleg, but it's not. The back of the hat where you can see it meets with the hair also needed a bit more TLC in the factory. Even a fair amount away, you can see there are consistent problems with the paint on this guy. Belt buckle looks fine, but the white on his jacket for the pockets is sloppy too. Again, that bootleg feel is present, and it does continue on down to the feet. Why, Good Smile? Why would you let this out like this? Rushed production? Who knows? The Pokeball emblem on his back isn't the best either. Certainly, other Pokemon Nendoroids haven't been entirely too crisp, but I'd like to know what's going on here. And unfortunately, it mostly continues with Blue. Generally, he's a lot more simple than Red, but there are still some paint issues, though the sculpt is actually really nice. And as you can see here, the plastic for the shirt could genuinely pass as cloth, at least I think so. Once again, the face looks nice, and the smirk is painted well enough. The shading for the hair is nicely done too, giving it a nice gradient, like effort was put into it. Like I said, the shirt is nice, but around the emblem we see an issue with bleed over from the silver paint. Womp womp. What's even more, and you may have caught this with Red's hat, not only is there brown slop on the legs from the boots, but it looks like there's dried glue on the legs. What the fuck? Not good. Overall, they look nice from a distance, but in hand, they're flawed. Here's a quick comparison with the other Nendoroid Red, specifically the original one, so you can see where the differences are. Some, for whatever reason, think this new Red is a repaint. Yeah. Articulation between the two is pretty much identical. For Red, we have the swivel hinge style Nendoroid neck joint, we have swivel shoulders, bicep swivel, swivel waist, and then we have the Nendoroid joint in for the hips, so you can move them forward and back and twist and you can turn them around. Gary features similar articulation except for he doesn't have a bicep swivel. What's interesting though is he has wrist swivel, so you can spin the hands around instead. Now, obviously, articulation is not what Nendoroids are known for. They're known for their accessories to have a more expressive display, and thankfully, these two come with just enough. For accessories, Red comes with his stand, an extra faceplate with a surprised, angry expression, his bag, a Pokeball, 2 right arm parts so he can point and hold the Pokeball, and 1 left arm part so he can hold his bag. To swap out Red's faceplate, just pull the front of his hat off, pull the plate that's currently attached off, put the new one on, and then reattach the hat. The bag is made of translucent plastic and it is painted, and it's not painted too well. Just enough that, at a distance, it looks fine. To get Red to wear the bag, I find it best to pop his head off, slide the straps over his shoulders, line the peg on the bag with the hole in the back, and you're good to go. Keep in mind that the straps also separate like the one for the original Red. The Pokeball, it's standard. You know what it is. You've seen it before. Sloppy paint, yada yada yada. To swap the arm parts off, just pull the arms off at the bicep connection and pop the new ones in. Very simple. Overall, the posing ability with these new parts really add to this figure's display, and it truly brings out the sense of adventure. Dix has similar accessories with an extra sassy faceplate, pendant, Pokeball, right arm part to have a bent arm, left arm part to hold the Pokeball, and 2 parts to cross his arms on top of a stand. Swapping faceplates is the same. Pop the front hair part off, pull the plate off, and pop the new one in, then pop the hair back on. For the pendant, it looks rather nice for the size, and the paint is good too. For this, you're going to have to pop the head off and put the pendant on like so. The plastic for the string can be a bit tricky, and it likes to get in the hole for the joint, so just be careful. Then, you pop the head back on. To swap the arms, the shoulders are swivels like I said before, so just pull them out at the shoulders and pop the new arms in. Dix has a unique feature to him that Red does not have that allows you to pop the hands off and use the hands on the different arm pieces, so if you want to, you can do that. These arm pieces really do allow for more expression, and you can have tons of fun. Finally, I've been silent about it to sort of make it a surprise, we get Mew. Mew looks pretty nicely detailed with no real slop to take note of. The chibiness of this little figure is so cute, you just gotta love it. Mew has a few points of articulation with a ball joint neck and swivel hips and tail. Mew comes with a support stand that's easy enough to use with simple reasoning. All you have to do is put one of the ball jointed ends in the base and the other one in his back. Here's a shot of the Nendoroid Mew with Atomi 1 and the D-Arts that came as a first production run with the D-Arts Mewtwo. Which do you prefer? Drop a comment down below and tell me. Overall, the accessories that we get with Nendoroid Red and Green are pretty solid. And finally, here's a size comparison with some other Nintendo-related figures you may have, whether it be Figmas or World of Nintendo stuff. They're about your average size Nendoroids. Mew is also on the small side, as you can see with this neat little size comparison here. So, buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. The sculpt for both is pretty good, but the paint apps are not the best, not by any means. Seriously, I don't quite understand why most of the imported action figure 2-packs I end up with have iffy paint. Well, it's obvious as to why, division of resources at a specific price point, but you'd think they'd either bump up the price point or start manufacturing the figures at an earlier point. But regardless, don't expect perfect looks here. Accessories, they're pretty basic, and even though Mew is a nice touch, I think, say, an Eevee and Pikachu or another combination like that would have been more fitting. Regardless of the critiques, this is a nice set, and it's fantastic for the 20th anniversary. Just try not to pay too much for these two, and I think you'll walk away with some great display pieces. Well, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like, subscribe, and drop a comment down below to share your thoughts. If you're interested in picking this figure up, or others like it, check the description for some cool links to take you where you need to go. Why don't you watch some more videos? Click the annotations on the screen now for more great content. Thanks again, and I'll catch ya in the next video.